To discuss this is Mark Schulman, author of the Tel Aviv Diary and columnist at Newsweek. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark. How does Israel's interception of the flotilla impact the already volatile diplomatic ties between Israel and Turkey? I mean, this is different than what we've seen when Israel has intercepted other flotillas recently.
Yeah, absolutely. But on the other hand, I'm not sure our ties with Turkey can get any worse. They're as poor as they can be, with a limitation that we still do business, even though we claim not to. There's still business relations. I don't think this will get the situation any worse. I think we have to be concerned about our international image for reasons that I don't fully understand. This is getting very little play in the international press. I guess there are too many things going on, and the Iran situation, of course, subsumes almost everything. So that's good. Look, these flotillas are really basically a PR problem more than anything else. Obviously, there's nothing they're going to bring to Gaza that they're not getting already. Israel is sending way more food and medicine and everything else that the Gazans possibly could use, except for arms, than is necessary. This is a PR stunt by the Palestinian supporters of Gaza or of Hamas. And we have to play at that. We have to look at it as a PR play. I hope that those people in charge in the Navy and other places understand that and are acting, that this is play acting. This is all a big play, and we need to play along in the right possible way.
All right. But I mean, one of the reasons I mentioned that this is different than what we've seen before is that, of course, this brings echoes of the Mavi Marmara incident in 2010, which was similar. And back then, the Israeli Navy ended up opening fire, and it triggered a really prolonged diplomatic fallout between Israel and Turkey. Now, you're saying that the relations are already really bad, but I mean, they could still get worse. Would you say that these regional political calculations are factored into the Navy's response here, or are they just looking at this specific flotilla going to Gaza and trying to stop them at whatever cost?
Look, I assume they're factored in. I mean, Prime Minister Netanyahu has a direct involvement in it. He has to understand whatever consequences there may be. But again, we never recovered from what happened with the Marvin.
Right.
Those relations have never recovered. I mean, I'm not sure they could have recovered considering who's leading Turkey at this point and what his views of us are. On the other hand, we need to be careful. And again, I think the more important audience is really not the Turkish audience, it's the rest of the world. And we need to make sure that we're dealing with that and thinking about that. One of our biggest problems over these last 3 years is there needs to be someone sitting next to whatever military leader is making any decisions and saying, how will this affect us in the world? What can we do a little bit differently so that it plays a little bit better? And I'm hoping we're learning the lesson. It's something, there was a report at the end of the Second Lebanon War by the RAND Commission, and it talked about how Israel didn't learn how to play the communications battle. That was one of the key factors in any war. And we didn't learn that lesson during this past war. I'm hoping that at least in these instances, we have done it. And the previous flotilla, in terms of the one that left from Spain originally, we seem to have done a reasonable job.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you if we're going to continue to see these. It's basically a back and forth. The flotillas are coming. The media are covering it, and Israel is pushing back, intercepting them, sometimes arresting or detaining some of the members, and that gets a lot of press. And then the next one comes in. Are we going to continue to see that?
As long as they have nothing else to do, I guess so. I mean, they feel like, they have to do, activists seem to have to do something. The same reason they have to demonstrate every single week. It seems to be part of a pattern. Look, arresting them, I have a bit of a problem with, because I'm not really sure what laws they've violated while they're out in Cyprus. In other words, if they would have entered Israeli territorial waters, then I think we have a right to arrest them. But I don't think we have a legal right to arrest somebody when they're, 60 miles, 100 miles, or 200 miles away. We can intercept them and say they're planning something and to stop them from doing it, but I don't think we can arrest anybody. Look, it's a public relations play. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get some publicity. Clearly, they're not trying to bring supplies to Gaza, because there's no limitation today on supplies going into Gaza other than things that can be used to kill us. So again, this is all PR. It's PR on their part, and it's PR on our part. Like I said, I just hope that the people on our side are keeping a good sense of what plays poorly or plays well, however you want to look at it in terms of cameras and TVs and world public opinion.
Well, I mean, as we can see here right next to you in the images on our screens, everything is being recorded by the people on the flotilla themselves as well. So, I mean, we'll certainly see more of that and see what is happening as the Israeli Navy goes on.
As long as we can limit the use of violence on our side. Even, you know, we have to understand they're going to do all they can to try to get us to be violent. We have to say, you know, the old saying, turn the other cheek, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're not really good at that, but we need to in this case, because that's what it's all about.
All right. Mark Schulman, thank you very much for that update. For your analysis.